let's get into this Chiefs Bucks game that we'll see where it's played right now. Still tentatively scheduled for Tampa Bay. Obviously, our thoughts go out to everybody, that's affected by the hurricanes down there. But Sean, the freaks come out at night. It's a weird transition, but who you got? Who do you expect for a freak performance in a casting spot?
Oh, I am definitely expecting a freaky performance from Leonard Fournette. And, typically when we think of Chiefs Bucks, we think of high scoring game, the total in the mid 50s. But this one could be, defensive struggle. The total's at 45 right now. Both teams are kind of trying to figure out the wide receiver position right now. So, Leonard Fournette, he is a true workhorse back. He is the only running back in the league right now that has had over 60% of his team's rush attempts every week and ran a route on over 70% of dropbacks every week. Unfortunately, it hasn't turned into like some monster performances like we're used to seeing. But he is coming off of a 5-catch, 35-yard game. Finally, we were finally rooting for him to, do something through the air. So I think he'll, continue to be more of a 4 to 5 catch guy game going forward. He's also yet to score a touchdown, despite seeing both the teams, rush attempts inside the 5. So he's due for some positive touchdown regression. So I think this is a perfect slate to kind of just use Fournette in the captain slot and root for a low-scoring game.
Yeah, I totally agree. Kansas City has given up 8 or more catches in each game that they played, 2 running backs. So we know Fournette is going to get a large percentage of the snaps in that backfield. So this could be his season high in catches. He might get even more than last week. So I really like Fournette as well. I know Tampa Bay is going to get some receivers back. Looks like everyone practiced except Brashad Perriman. So that could be interesting as well. So I think there are a lot of options to, you could finally probably also go back to Tom Brady and stack him with, Mike. I like Mike Evans for this slate as well.
Yeah.
But Kansas City's been doing a good job, as they tend to do, of like funneling the action away from their cornerbacks and to some of the other, lesser receiving positions, which under Spagnuolo, they've been really good at that, regardless of who they've had on the outside. So I think Fournette is the clear play.
So everyone practiced, including Chris Godwin?
Chris Godwin practiced, I believe so, on Wednesday. Yeah. Let me double check that.
It looks like
he is
limited.
Yeah.
They don't want to rush him back though, because it seemed like you said, he's maybe compensating coming back from the ACL. So maybe even if he gets in practice this week, they hold him out, but we'll see. But yeah, if he's available, that's going to make it even tougher to really narrow in anybody on their wide receiver depth chart. And Julio as well, right? He's
Julio's practicing. Yeah. Only guy that didn't practice was Rashad Perriman, of all people. So
of all people.
They can't quit him though. So
no, they can't.
But yeah, so this is a game where you do have to pay attention to the inactives, because if everyone is healthy, somebody's going to get scratched, whether it's Perriman, Scotty Miller, both of them. Obviously, Beasley's probably not going to be called up again. But Russell Gage is still listed on the injury report, but he's practicing.
And Cade Otton is back, so Kyle Rudolph back to healthy scratch.
Oh yeah, he's terrible.
But were people drafting him like tight end 25?
Yeah, I remember when that happened.
And we were like, "What the hell is going on?"
He got signed, and immediately people ranked him above Cameron Brate. I was like, not that Cameron Brate's like carrying it up at all.
Yeah,
but it's just like sometimes these guys, it's like Kyle Rudolph is like the tight end version of Allen Robinson. It's like he can't move anymore.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about dart throws. Who you like?
Well, speaking of Cam Brate, I'm going to go with him. He was pretty quiet weeks 1 and 2, not going to lie, but he finally had sort of a mini breakout game last week. He had 5 catches for 52 yards. Now, granted, he did take advantage of Evans, Julio, Godwin, all not playing. But even if they return, he's still going to get his snaps at tight end. And he ran her out on 84% of Tom Brady's dropbacks. Like we just said, Kyle Rudolph is 0 factor right now. So could see another, 4-5 catch game here on a slate like this. That is more than enough. So Cam Brate, he's been a guy that's disappointed early on, but could get going now. And then on the Chiefs side, I got to go with Jerick McKinnon. and he is quietly leapfrogging Clyde Edwards-Helaire right now as the team's lead back. McKinnon himself, he carried the ball 7 times last week for 20 yards against a tough Colts run defense. And then Edwards-Helaire, he had that bizarre rushing line. I wrote it down in my notes, and then I saw that you tweeted it out.
Yeah, 7 carries, 0 yards, 1 touchdown.
It was like an area code. What area code is that? But yeah, 7 carries, 0 yards, and 1 touchdown. What the hell was that? So there's a chance that McKinnon could start out rushing Clyde Edwards-Helaire soon. He's already out snapping him in the passing game. So last week, McKinnon was right around 50% routes run rate compared to Clyde Edwards-Helaire 40%. So a game like this, the Chiefs could lean on, dump off passes of the backs sort of as an extension of the run game. So this could be a sneaky game for McKinnon. And I would not be shocked if in the next couple of weeks, we're projecting him ahead of Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So I think on this slate, McKinnon's one of my favorite dart throws.
Yeah, shouts to North Dakota, the 701.
Oh, is that what it is? You looked it up? Okay.
Yeah.
Represent.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I mean, this is a tough matchup for him. We know Tampa Bay plays really good run defense. I think we talked about on the flex pod that I think that was one of the guys I was down on. So yeah, it's not looking good for him. I had Brate circled as well, but I'll go off the mat with some even more contrarian guys. So I'm hearing that, Andy Reid is saying that like he could do a better job with some of the running play calls and things like that. And, he's kind of aware they're not having success. I think this could be a game where we see more Pacheco too, because I don't think I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire is struggling. And I think, they did bring Pacheco in on a goal line or red zone play. I think it was inside the 10 against the Colts. And I think we're just going to see more of that. And going forward, I think it's going to be a more even backfield. And remember, we never could predict what Andy Reid was going to do back when he had like 3 backs that he was using. So I think we might get back to that. Sky Moore is another one that, they're saying they're going to get more involved. Now, every time they say that, he like muffs a punt or does something ridiculous that like just plasters him to the bench for the rest of the game. But I do think they kind of need him. I mean, their offense isn't what it was with Tyreek Hill. So if he doesn't make a mistake on special teams, I think he could play a few more snaps at wide receiver. And then for the Bucs, they're talking about, and this would be kind of a super high leverage play, but they're talking about they need to get the guys behind Fournette more involved as well. So I think Rachaad White is an interesting one here because it's a lot of leverage. I think Fournette is going to be fairly popular, and I think he's the top play. But if we like Fournette, we should like White for the same reason. It's just a lot less snaps. But I could see him getting a little bump up in this game as well.
Yeah, love the Sky Moore call because right now it looks like Mecole Hardman nor Marquez Valdes-Scantling are practicing. So, I mean, if either one of those guys miss, I would expect Sky Moore to step up. Although Justin Watson's there, obviously, but Sky Moore seems like a better fit to replace sort of the Mecole Hardman role. So if either one of those guys rolled out, we should see a ton of Sky Moore.
I don't know what's going on with MVS. It's like I thought if there was any time for them to like unleash him, it would have been against a single high Gus Bradley last week. And I think he got 8 targets, but it's just they've been using him on like very low ADOT plays this year, which is weird.
Yeah, very weird. What is it, like 10.5 right now?
Yeah, it's like the average wide receiver. Like you would never know if you didn't know his past history, you would never know he was a deep threat at all.
He's like what we thought Rashad Bateman would be this year.
Right. Yeah.
And vice versa.
Yeah, exactly.
Any fullbacks you like in this?
Oh yeah, we got a couple fullbacks. I mean, we got Michael Burton. I think actually Michael Burton is worth rostering in this one because the Chiefs have really struggled in their run game and specifically in short yardage. And Burton has been their best short yardage back. So if they get on the goal line, like I think it's wide open. Like it could be CEH, it could be McKinnon, it could be Pacheco, it could also be Burton. It could be the backup tight ends for all we know because they don't do the quarterback sneaks, So like
Joe Fortston. Oh my God. How did we not mention him? But yeah, Burton, he would make sense as sort of the goal line back because, they've never trusted Edwards-Helaire. McKinnon's not really that type, and I don't think Pacheco's that type either. So yeah, I didn't even think of that, but Burton is definitely a vulture touchdown waiting to happen.
Yeah, and it's like for real, like not just because he's a fullback, but this team is actually struggling, and he's been their most effective guy in that situation. And then for the Bucs, I mean, he's not really a fullback like by listed, but he's playing some O'Keefe, the rookie. He should he should continue to be active. He's only going to run a route like 10% of the time, but you never know. He might get a little play action or something. But Burton, I think, is the best fullback on this slate.
I will probably have 0 shares of Koerner, but the way this season's going, like it would not shock me if he's the slate breaker for sure.
I feel like every time we mention a fullback on this show, they go off.
Well,
so.
I mean, we have to, but fullbacks were meant for the Showdown slate because we would never play these guys on the main slate. That's kind of the point. But they're always super cheap, and then you could spend up. So they don't even have to do much to be a slate breaker. So it's definitely worth mentioning a guy like Koerner.
Yeah, I mean, you saw Juice check, which we're going to talk about this game now, but we saw Juice catch that like sideline. He made like an Antonio Brown catch on the sideline.
Yeah, a George Pickens catch.
Yeah, that might have been, was that San Francisco's longest pass play? Like, it
had to be.
Debo
it was like
definitely had the one Jimmy underthrew. Yeah.